Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Guys, as you guys know, I have been questioned about NPG Cornerstone. At one point, I think I was supposed to work with NPG Cornerstone. One thing has been very consistent with NPG Cornerstone, and that is we don't know who they are. We don't know if they're working for Nick or not. At one point, I had a heart-to-heart, I thought, with Jessica, who's deeply involved with NPG Cornerstone, but tells me she's not the administration and can't tell me who is the administration. Nobody could tell me who the administration is. There has been speculation that Bobby Godejohn is NPG Cornerstone. There's speculation that it's close friends and family. We don't know who they are. We only know that they're asking for $250,000 and asking that his commissary money comes through the spot fund me. Why should he be charged commissary money when he can get it for free through JPay? Something's wrong here. So I had given my word that I wasn't going to actively attack NPG Cornerstone, but that I certainly wasn't going to support NPG Cornerstone. And lo and behold, wouldn't you know, that same day, I get hit by somebody who's affected by NPG Cornerstone and has concerns. I put them on hold. And then, I don't know what happens, but somebody writes to Morbid about NPG Cornerstone. And Morbid takes that letter and he writes to me as like a CC on the letter and says, listen, I think that Toddy One Skip is much better at helping with NPG Cornerstone because she has much more passion in this than I do. He has always said that he doesn't really have any kind of justice for Nick, just that Gypsy gets back in prison too, and that he wants to dedicate this year to justice for Dee Dee. Not really justice for Nick. He said that 1,000,000 times. So I get this letter or email, and I write back to this person thinking, wow, this might be somebody who is an administrator of NPG. So I write back and I was like, please, I'd like to know more. I have questions. And this person writes back, how did I get involved in this? Why am I involved in this? And all of a sudden I'm on the defense. And I guess with that, I thought, what the hell is going on here? I asked to help. How can I help? That's all I've ever wanted to know was how can we help? But I don't think at all that we need to help with you spending money any way you want when we don't know who you are, NPG Cornerstone. And I think that's fair to ask and fair to say. So guys, can you see that? Can you understand that there's definitely a problem here with getting to see who and what is NPG Cornerstone? So I met with the people that had complaints about NPG Cornerstone, people that felt like they were trying to support this group but then were treated poorly for supporting the group. And they said that they felt like they had screenshots to show that Nick Godejohn has been once again manipulated by a group of people that we don't know who they are. And, you know, I really don't care what Nick thinks is in his best interest. Once upon a time ago, he thought Gypsy was in his best interest. And then, wasn't he involved in the person who he thought was in his best interest, who was clearly being used by Fancy? I mean, it's unfortunate that Nick doesn't know what's right for his best interest, but it's not my job. It's not anybody's job here to decide what's right for Nick's best interest. So I have a proposition for you guys. I have a proposal for you guys. So guys, the problem with this is that it's not up to us to decide what's right for Nick because we're not... I don't have a degree. I don't want that responsibility. But because enough people have said, hey, Toddy One Skip, what's going on here? And you guys have asked, I have a proposal for you. Those of you that are concerned with the people that are involved with NPG Cornerstone, those of you that have concerns that have written to me and said, hey, Toddy, what's going on? These people, ... So, guys, the warden at the Potosi Correctional Center is Heather Cofer, Cofer. There's a phone number here, but there's also an address. The phone number is 573-438-6000. And the address is 11593 State Highway O, Mineral Point, Missouri, 63660. Guys, there's concerns about NPG Cornerstone. The problem with it is that I've reflected on conversations that we had, things that you're going to see now, and people that have taken administrative roles in NPG Cornerstone and in what seems to be the best interest for them to think that is in the best interest for Nick, and claim that they are not administrative. So if they're not administrators in NPG Cornerstone, why are they making administrative decisions? Silnat wanted to go ahead and try to write a book and take the profits from that book and do something for Nick. And she was poo-pooed and told that it wasn't about her, okay? Basically discarded because there was no money. There seems to be that they want money. And I am Nick, Nick is us. I am Nick, Nick is us. A mantra that is very cult-like. It's very cultish. Una has a relationship with Nick as far as just writing to him, and I've seen those correspondence between the two of them. And she gets permission from Nick to write something about his mom. I saw the correspondence, and it says that, yes, go ahead, you can write something about my mom, but don't act like you knew her because you didn't know her. I'm the only one that knew her. That's what Nick wrote in that correspondence. And then somebody decided, it seems, that she can't write that. And it doesn't appear to have been Nick. So who's making decisions and then not calling themselves administration? Is this the same people that can act and say what's in his best interest? Guys, if you see what it says about where the money goes for NPG Cornerstone, it goes to something that may never happen. And then it goes to his commissary, which he shouldn't be charged to get. His commissary is free if you put it through JPay. Why put it through a Spot Fund Me that's going to charge money? Spot Fund Me charges money. Why? And he can get his own money. And then it says if it doesn't happen, this is going to be for Nick's release. Well, if he doesn't get the habeas corpus, he doesn't get the clemency, he's not getting released. So then what? $250,000 is supposed to last him in jail for life? $250,000? And then it says it will be used for what's in Nick's best interest. Well, do you trust Nick's best interest? Show me his track record. Guys, this is what this is about. It's as plain and simple as that. It's not about people per se, except if there's malicious and nefarious intent behind NPG Cornerstone. And the problem is we don't know who NPG Cornerstone is, so we don't know the answer to that. That's just the truth. That's what this is about here, guys. So what I'm saying to you is if you have concerns, and I have concerns, let's nip it in the bud. Let's let people that do their job do their job. Okay? Let's write to the warden. Let's write to Miss Cofer, Cofer. Let's tell her our concerns about a nonprofit that's supposedly working in Nick's best interest, asking for $250,000 for something that may or may not happen, that's taking money for his commissary that is being charged when it doesn't need to be, and people that might be manipulating him from the outside. Let them do their job. If you guys write this letter about concern for Nick, write your email address. your screen name. Send it to me at toddy1skip@gmail.com. I will, like I did the clemency letters, print it out, compile the packet, put together a nice cover letter for all of us, and send it to the warden of the facility. I'm asking, if that's what you guys want to do, that's what I'm going to do. In the meantime, let's listen to this interview with these two women talking about their experience. We're trying to work with Nick and work with NPG Cornerstone, guys. Yeah, okay. So, all right. So let me just tell you what happened. So I wasn't interested in getting any more involved in this. I was interested in handling it exactly the way that I told Una, and that was to get in touch with the classification officer of Nick's and to stop the communication if they deemed the communication to be harmful for Nick. Let them investigate. They're there. They have more experience than I do. I'm in New York, and that's not my field of expertise. It's their job to protect him inside of that facility, especially from people on the outside. It's their job. So I think, and what I'm going to ask my subscribers to do as well, is to write letters to the warden of the facility, the warden of Potosi. Explain to him what's going on with the NPG Cornerstone and with communications that are going on with Nick and who's talking to Nick, and let them suss it out and let them do their job and let them decide if it's a good relationship or a bad relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay.
totally. Yeah.
I'm still going to do that. And I was no longer going to actively go after NPG Cornerstone. That I wasn't going to do that, okay? Now, I had spoken to Jessica a day before I spoke to you, Una. And that conversation was supposed to be between me and Jessica. And at the end of the conversation, what I said to her was, I'm not going to actively go after NPG Cornerstone. However, I'm not going to support them, because I've learned nothing from this conversation except that you yourself have invested money in them, and that you yourself believe in them, and that you yourself would feel very sorry if anybody was, taken advantage of. But that doesn't really mean much to me. So and then I spoke with you, Una, and I told you, listen, first of all, I feel like it's not going to help Nick with us fighting with NPG Cornerstone. The only thing that benefits the exposure of NPG Cornerstone is to the public and the people that are going to give money to NPG Cornerstone. I also brought to Jessica's attention that not in any way, shape, or form should they have anything to do with Nick's commissary money, because he could get his commissary money for free. And if it goes through the spot fund, why is he paying for his own commissary money? That right there shows you that something's wrong. He should not he should not have to be paying a fee to get commissary money. He gets that for free. It does not need to go through spot fund. Whoever is running that group either isn't working in Nick's best interest or doesn't know what they're doing. Either which way, that equals to not working in his best interest. If they don't know what they're doing, that's still not working in his best interest. It's just not working in his best interest without malice. If they know what they're doing and they're doing it anyway, then it's just working with malice. Either which way, it's not in his best interest. That right there alone shows you that. You know what I mean? So, and the fact that I've gone through these screenshots that you've sent me, and I have them so that we could go through them, because I do see what you guys see. I see that there is a dictation and that there is a gatekeeping of Nick. And who are they to think that they could even gatekeep him? You know,
Yeah,
he
that
has
was
gatekeepers. He is in prison. He has proper gatekeepers.
Because they think that because they're out, moms of autistic kids, they have the all say in this situation. I just
and it wasn't, yeah, it wasn't just that it wasn't just that he gave me permission and then he said he was okay with the project and that I could speak about his mom as long as I said, you know, didn't say like I knew her or acted like I knew her. And it was really strange to me that he made that decision, you know, himself. And then they went around and told him, no, that's not a good idea. And he agreed with that. And I don't even know if he agreed with that. So because every time that they're telling me that he's saying something, they're conveniently on the phone with him at the time. And it's like, that doesn't work that way in prison.
Yeah, well, okay, so they have, like I told you, they have these tablets now, and I'm not familiar with the tablet, but you told me he's only allowed email in the tablet.
That's
he's
what
not
they
allowed,
told me.
So then his phone calls, if they're not allowed on the tablet, then they would have to be through, you know, the phone, the regular phone that's on the wall that the inmates might use. Excuse me. And yeah, he can't be on that anytime he wants, especially if he's involved in trustee programs, which he is. He's involved in trustee programs. So let me tell you what brought me here. What prompted the email that said, "Do you still want to do this?" So, Myra or Mayra, however her name is pronounced, I don't mean any disrespect, had apparently, I don't know what happened between her and Morbid. I think Morbid was questioning NPG Cornerstone, and I guess Myra wrote to Morbid about and explaining NPG Cornerstone, and Morbid really has no desire in any justice for Nick in any more than Gypsy getting thrown back in jail. And he has said that. He said that his justice for Nick is different, you know, than what my justice for Nick or your justice for Nick, you know, that he'd like to see him have, you know, a fair trial, but that wasn't on his priority list. His priority list was Dee Dee's, justice for Dee Dee this year. So he's made that 1,000% clear. So he goes ahead and gets this email from this woman that I thought maybe was an administrator through NPG Cornerstone. And I'm not saying that Morbid thought this too, because I don't know what Morbid thought, but Morbid wrote just a short little paragraph saying, hey, listen, I'm handing this off to you, me. And he CC'd this woman. So she knew that he was handing this off to me, and the reason being was in this little paragraph that said, she's got more passion. Toddy has more passion for this project than me. You know, this is the person basically that you should be talking to. Okay? So I get this email and I write back, yes, please, can we talk? And I don't know that this person has spoken to Jessica, a conversation that I thought was between Jessica and me. I didn't even think anybody knew about it. That was the way that I thought we left it. But apparently this woman knew about it. It's fine that she knew about it. Except that it kind of hit me as a surprise, and all of a sudden I was defending what Morbid did. And what did Morbid do? He thought he was helping a situation by handing this off to somebody who has more passion and wants to see, you know, justice for Nick. And in the meantime, I'm getting beaten up for how'd I get involved in this. Well, if you read the fucking email, it says right there, he handed this off to me because he thought that I would be suited better to help with justice for Nick. But no, all of a sudden I felt like I was on the defensive, and how did I get involved in this? And don't question me. I mean, who are you to question me there? So I'm going to interrupt right here. I'm editing this. And my question now is, that's an administrative decision. You questioning and making, almost vetting me is administrative work. So are you NPG Cornerstone? And if you are, why won't you just say you are? This is the thing. I mean, who are you to question me? There's too much gatekeeping and too much controlling over there. So when I saw that, I said to myself, there's something wrong here. And that's when I had already decided I'm not going to go to his classification officer. I believe, we sent packets out to the FBI and to with this whole thing that happened with Fancy. And listen, the authorities, they move at the pace they move at. Takes years for investigations sometimes. But I really feel reaching out to the warden of the facility and having them make sure that this group and the phone calls he is getting is no manipulation and there's nobody that's taking advantage of him is in the best interest. How many of you guys, there's two of you, so that's kind of stupid. Who thinks that Bobby Godejohn is an administrator of this group?
I'm sorry, I found out.
He is an administrator. They made him one on the I guess the Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
But he usually posts things about, just different topics that he likes, like stuff about animals, and sometimes he posts kind of like metaphysical type of posts.
So he would have been the one that might have put up that video about whatever went on in the house or something like that. The video that they've since took down, the one about the paranormal stuff, maybe. Is that more up his alley?
I think he does post stuff like that, but like he does talk sometimes about narcissism and different psychology topics, and like kind of like metaphysical things like empaths, and you know what I mean?
Okay.
That kind of stuff.
All right, so do you think, besides the title that somebody's given him, do you think he has anything to do with NPG Cornerstone? You guys have been a lot more involved in NPG Cornerstone than
I think he has little to not voice, but that's my opinion. I've been in the group. I don't see something strong or something coming up from him that is Nick related. He's always speaking about conspiracy theories and UFOs and things like that. It's really cool. I love that stuff. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I like what he posts. Yeah.
But it's not all about Nick or not about giving awareness of autism and how we work in society. It's nothing about that. So I try to come to that approach to the group. Hey, let me just give you a hand. I maybe can be useful. They trust me. They say, what are you doing here? And what is your opinion? And you're a content creator. I'm not a content creator. I'm just here because I have a voice and I have an opinion. And probably someone is going to hear me and say, hey, that's useful. I can use that.
Mm-hmm. So, do you get the impression that anybody that's running NPG Cornerstone has autism?
I am not entirely sure. The administrator, sometimes she does not understand certain things, and I have to kind of explain them to her more. So I'm not really sure. Let me ask you a question. But
when you are explaining how do you get in touch with an administrator from NPG Cornerstone?
I got mine a year ago. I ended up in tears. I shaking up like a leaf. I didn't know what to do because I'm trying to explain to this person, this happens to me too. So I can relate with Nick. Nick is, in my eyes, more human than anyone else around me, because I've been manipulated. But my first love, I was so blindly, 8 years on and off. It was a pattern for me. I wait for summer for him to call me. This happens. And I'm here to bring that message. It's not about you, they told me, and it's not about you. It's like, who do you think you are? Just trauma dumping or something like that. My trauma is valid. Nick's trauma is valid. And everyone in the spectrum, we suffer this kind of manipulation and games and tactics. They're playing with our minds.
So let me ask
Yes.
you. Okay, I hear that. I understand that, and that was something that they told me about you. I'll be honest with you. I was told that basically everything you talked about had to be brought back to you, Silnat. I have never caught that about you, to be honest with you. And I've associated with you, and I've been on your page, and you know that. But okay, so I need to know the answer to this question because you guys would have a better opinion. And I asked, so I just, Silnat, do you think, so I'm not going to put it, just tell me, do you think that any of the administration in NPG Cornerstone has autism?
I think they are really rude. I've been just embraced with open arms for the autistic community. I have several friends now that are in my page. We are exchanging. Neither of them in the page give me just, I'm sorry, what happened to you? Can we talk about it? Are you okay? You lost your mom. It's very recent. It's very fresh. No, there's not empathy. There's not any kind of compassion. There's nothing there.
And what do you think, Una?
Well, to be honest, I mean, Silnat showed me what was said, and I think that was completely out of line, what they said to her.
I got the screenshots.
I think that was completely out of line, and I think that they do get very snarky. And one thing that they're always saying is that we are Nick is us things. But Nick,
I know,
Nick does not. Nick's not snarky like that. He doesn't talk like that. He's got a very young mind, and he's very polite, and he's, you know.
So let me ask you a question. Okay, there's going to be things people are going to want, and I just spilt some beverage on me. There's going to be questions people want to know. So I need to know, how do you get in touch with NPG administration when you were part of the group? How did you get in touch with them if you had a question to ask them? How did you get in touch with them?
There's a different page. It's like a regular Facebook page, not like a you know how not one with administrators and stuff like that, but just a regular Facebook page for it. And that's how I was getting in touch with the admin.
And what about
through
you?
That one.
And what about you, Silnat?
They jumped one day to talk me.
They what?
It jumps. It pop in my Facebook page. I was like, oh my god, the admin reached me. Okay.
Oh, administration reached out to you.
To me, yeah.
Okay. Now, when they reached out to you guys, did anybody ever hear a voice from them, or was everything in the written word?
It's all writing.
Okay. So, do you have a clue who you've spoken to?
Like I said, I think the administrator seems like she seems like English may not be her first language.
Why do you say that?
There's certain, it's almost like kind of like an accent, like and certain words she says differently, like.
But wait a minute, wait. So I want to be clear here. So have you ever verbally spoken to the administration? You said no. So
no, they're always
when
writing.
You're talking about the writing, you're saying you're not hearing anything, you're reading something. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay,
But
okay.
what I mean is, like, she says certain words differently
She
to where you can.
She writes words differently. I just want this to be clear because I want people to understand that you have never heard from anybody. You have never
Not-
physically heard from anybody. So when you say that they say something, it's that they've written something not the way an American might. Is that what we're saying?
type.
I just want to be
Yeah,
as clear as
there
possible.
might be a little bit of a language barrier.
Okay.
But
Words that
never,
wouldn't
never
be so
spoken
common.
to someone like.
Right. And what I'm going to show, I'm going to show. So, okay, so like an example, instead of the word while we wait, people from the UK and Australia and stuff, they'll use the word whilst, WHILST. Instead of saying, 2 weeks, they'll say a fortnight. So is that what you mean? Something like that?
No, it's hard to explain, like, certain words she says differently, like, we would say something like, pretty straightforward, and there are just certain words that she replaces with other words.
Okay. Are those in the screenshots? Do we have those? Are those in the screen?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a little bit in the screenshots, yeah.
Okay. All right. So before we even get there, because, and I don't mean, I'm not trying to be rude. I just want to get to the point here where people stop and think, who is behind NPG Cornerstone? What, guys? I was asked by Myra, and I'm sorry, I don't know the name. What do I hope to achieve? I have no money invested in this. I hope to achieve to make sure that somebody, it doesn't even matter that it's Nick, as I've said a million times. I don't want to see this person be used and abused again and again and again and again and again. Stop. He's been 2-3 times that we know about. First by Gypsy. I don't even want to say about the interrogator, but by the interrogator, somebody else who he trusted.
Oh yeah, she did.
Okay? Somebody who he trusted. What about the thing that Fancy did? What about there was another person involved at some point that was right, that got him fucking his shit taken from him so that he couldn't even talk to people.
Despicable.
It's enough. So that's what this is very, and I'm angry about this, NPG, because the minute I try to let it go and try to say, okay, I might not understand it, but, maybe they're doing something. The minute I do that, I get kicked in the face again. And now it's like, no. Now it's like, I'm done. So what I'm asking my subscribers to do, if they agree, or anybody that can hear this, if they agree and are unsure of who NPG Cornerstone is, please, I need you guys to write to the Warden of Potosi Correctional Facility. I will get the link for his name. I will look it up, but I'm sure as easy as I could look it up, the viewers could look it up. Share with them. There is a non-profit group, NPG Cornerstone Nation, asking for $250,000 in Nick's name for something that has not come to fruition yet. They are also asking for his commissary money to go through this Spot Fund Me account, where Nick can get his commissary for free. It doesn't need to be charged. It goes there, he gets it for nothing. Why is he paying a charge on that? And who is talking to him that is making him decide who he can talk to? Is he being manipulated? I think he is. I believe he is. I'm going to show the screenshots. that I believe he's being manipulated by this group. The worst that can happen is they'll investigate it and say you're incorrect. They have his best interest at heart.
No.
But that's beyond my wheelhouse. So, to my viewers, to anybody that can hear this, anybody that's interested in this, anybody that is concerned by this, please write a letter to the warden of this facility. You can email me the letter. I will print it out. Email it to me at toddy1skip@gmail.com. You write the letter. I'm not writing letters for anybody, please. You write the letter. Put your email address. All you have to do is put your email address. You could put your screen name and your email address, okay? A way for them to get in touch with you and explain your concerns. Email me the letters. I will put them in another stack and I will send them to the warden of the facility all together in one shot. So let's do that. Guys, let's go. Go ahead, Una.
Okay, so one thing about the fundraising, what Nick has said to me a couple of times is when he gets the right represent.
Now, when you hang on. Now, when you speak to Nick, how do you speak to Nick, Una?
Through Securus.
So it's email.
Yeah, JPay
Okay.
Securus.
Okay, very good. Because the people are going to ask. I just don't want that to stop. Because they'll be, well, how's she doing that? And it'll stop them from hearing what you're saying. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's through Securus, just emails, and he's said a couple times to me, once he gets the right representation, that it shouldn't be a problem for him to, have fair treatment and, possibly get out. But what I'm kind of concerned about is how realistic this is. Their last fundraiser that they did here was like, I think they drew in $650, and they're looking for, $250K. How long is that going to take them? That could take years for them to get that. And it's just kind of ridiculous to me.
So you're kind of getting the cart in front of the horse, and let me explain why. Because you have to remember, while we're doing this, I want this to go on my channel, as you know, so that it gets out to a wider audience. That's what we're doing this for, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I was accused of manipulating Silnat. I don't know how or why. But
I
don't believe that, but whatever.
No.
I was asking myself during the weekend, these people are saying this to me, but Toddy didn't say anything to me that someone's trying to manipulate me. So what's something wrong in here?
Well, I was told that that somebody said to you that I was trying to manipulate you. Did that not happen, or did that happen?
No.
It did not happen. Okay, good.
Well, they said it to me.
Ever.
Oh, they said it to you that I was trying to manipulate Silnat. No.
And if you look in the screenshots,
We're gonna
it
bring them
says,
screenshots up.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
It brings that up.
Okay, cool. But these ladies asked to come on my channel, and I didn't want to do this, to be honest with you. I reached back out to them after this whole thing happened with Morbid sending me something that he thought that I could legitimately help with, and then I get attacked for reaching out to say, yes, please. Anyway, so I'm done trying to be nice to MPG. If people want to see this as an attack on them, okay. It's not what it is. I'm not going to attack them. I'm going to ask the people in the right authority to please check them out. Make sure that what they're saying is correct.
Yeah, no, I'm not here to attack them either. I'm concerned about things that don't add up to me. That's just what
Right.
It's just concern. I'm not trying to attack anybody.
I don't think anybody's here for any other reason than trying to get some sort of clarity for Nick.
Yes.
I never, ever attack anyone. and anyone in
So
particular.
now I know that. I've never heard you say a bad word about anybody.
No, because there are people that take one of my videos really personally, and this person now is smearing at me in panels and in her lives. It's been crazy. It's been 3 days of craziness.
So see what
in
I'm
my
saying? Like, and this is about a group that's supposed to be helping another autistic person. So there's something wrong with that. But Una, you were saying, and I interrupted just so that people understood. So when your conversation with Nick, go ahead. You said that you get in touch with him through the email, through Securus. Same way I would write to him. Same way most everybody would write to him. Go ahead. And what were you going to say?
No, I was wondering, like, what he's waiting on is that fundraising, and
Right. Okay.
that's what I'm saying. Like, they got $650 on this last fundraiser. How long is that going to take?
He's not gonna. So that was when I was saying I'm sorry about having the cart in front of the horse. See, he only needs a lawyer, Una and Silnat, if it's accepted, if the habeas corpus is accepted. Remember, I said, listen, I said to Jessica, because she made it seem like, hey, we just want to be prepared if it's allowed. And I said, why don't you see how long it takes? Why don't you reach out and say, hey, if this gets approved, how long will it take for that? Before you start asking people for a bunch of money. And I also explained the way that it's worded from NPG Cornerstone, the way that is worded, it allows Nick to do what he thinks is best for his money. So he could think it's best to pay Jessica's mortgage. And we can't fight that because of the way it's worded. So I brought that to Jessica's attention as well. I said it's worded so that if he doesn't get granted clemency, or if he doesn't get his freedom and doesn't get a chance of it, where's the money go? It's up to Nick to decide. It's up to Nick to decide. What? What do you mean it's up? Nick could, he didn't make very good decisions before, and I'm not knocking him. So I'm sick of that. I'm sick of defending the fact that I don't have a lot of confidence in his judgment. Why should I? He's been manipulated time and time again. He's incarcerated because he was manipulated. I don't have a lot of confidence in his judgment, not because of anything other than his past. I don't know that he's capable of making the best decisions for him. And I don't mean that as anything other than I don't know that he's capable of that. That's it. So those people that come at me sideways with, no, I'm just being real, he might not be capable of that. Show me where he is capable
I can say that when your primary caregiver, when you're on the spectrum, just is not in the picture or pass away, you're thrown into society in a way that you have to defend yourself because your mom is not here, your father's not here. So I'm in this situation looking more at Nick's side. It's like he has his father, but it's not chiming in as it has to be, just talking with people or just his voice only. Just his voice. We don't need faces. We need a voice.
Yes,
exactly. You and I said to them, to NPG Cornerstone, they need a face behind NPG Cornerstone that people could go to. That's a live person that they can have faith and confidence in. But I'm done telling them what I think they should do, because I don't care anymore. I don't see where they're benefiting him. Nick doesn't need shit until he needs it. He may never come to need it. So give him his commissary. Make him comfortable. Give him something to look forward to. That's the thing you should be doing. And then, if he can reach these things. First of all, there's things that Nick's entitled to that they have taken into no regard. They have made decisions for him, and from what I see, these people aren't even from this country. So what decisions are you making for him? Again, let me interrupt and say there's administrative decisions by people claiming not to be administrative, not to be on the administrative staff, not to be administrators. There's just, that's it. But they haven't taken into consideration that he's entitled to legal aid. He's entitled to things because he's autistic, and they take under no consideration. They have looked, and what they found is that a really good attorney in the regard for Nick can be up to $250,000. So they said, let's go for that. That's what happened. And we don't know who they are. If he can reach these things, first of all, there's things that Nick's entitled to that they have taken into no regard. They have made decisions for him, and from what I see, these people aren't even from this country. So what decisions are you making for him?
I noticed that, yeah.
You know, what decisions are you making from them? Now listen, Jessica has always struck me, to be honest with you, as somebody that I can communicate with. She's somebody that I really want to like and believe. I do. Mm-hmm. And she told me, hey, listen, I'm giving money to them. Okay, but what if you're getting it back? How do I know you're not getting it back? How do I know you're not one of the receivers of this? Maybe you're not, but maybe you are. How do I know you're not? When people are asking for that kind of money, people want to know who's it going to, and how ridiculous, because if he's not granted any of this, what's he going to do with $250,000 in prison? If he's not granted any of this, they're collecting money. What's he gonna do with $250,000 in prison? And never being able to come out? What's he doing? And she had the same answer basically that you had, Silnat. And that's when I say, and you think people should give money to this? You know what I'm saying? And that's when I say, listen, if 1,000 people gave $250, right? Or if 2,000 people gave $125, they got their $250,000. We're out $125, $250. Nothing that anybody's going to go to court and fight about, because it costs more to get that back, right? It costs more. Mm-hmm. So people lost maybe $250. It's a life experience, learning lesson, whatever. 5 people, if they split $250,000, they walk away with $50,000 each. That's a lot of fucking money. Yeah. Now, I think that that's a pretty good scam. And shame on the people that are giving money to that without having a face behind it. That's the problem. It's always been the problem. NPG Cornerstone, let's make it clear. The problem that people are having, and what my subscribers seem to be having as well, is that there is nobody to be held accountable here. There is nobody to ask questions to. We don't know who we're talking to. There is no transparency in who is running this group and what the plans are. That's it. That's it, and that's it. And now, let's go to some screenshots here. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So I really want to thank Una and Silnat for sharing their story with me and for trusting me with their experience and what they've gone through with NPG Cornerstone and with their concerns about NPG Cornerstone. It takes a lot to stand up for something that you think is not right and not fair, and kudos to you guys. And again, thank you for coming on this channel and allowing me to tell your story. So I appreciate that. I think it's in the best interest of Nick to have somebody investigate who's talking in his ear, who's getting him to share their emails. He's sharing his emails with these people. And here's the thing. Maybe that's okay. Maybe everything's good. Maybe not. Who are they to decide that they're the best thing for Nick. They're not even claiming to be the administration of NPG Cornerstone. They have made themselves self-appointed ambassadors for Nick Godejohn. If that's the case, I just think that people in the authoritative position that they're in inside of the facility should double check on that. There's a lot of money at stake. Nick's name is being used, and Nick is easily manipulated. So anybody with concerns, please write to Warden Cofer, Cofer. Tell her the concerns. Don't get into the case about Gypsy. Just tell her the concerns that you have about maybe Nick being manipulated, if you have those concerns. Sign the letter and either mail it yourself or go ahead and send it to me at toddy1skip@gmail.com. In the subject matter, please write letter to Warden, and I will go ahead and send a packet out again with a cover letter that explains things better to the Warden. Guys, as you see, you can see what I've put up here. These are the text messages or the correspondence between people that claim not to be NPG Cornerstone administrators, yet clearly are speaking out for them and speaking for Nick. So, you guys decide. Again, this is Issues with Toddy1Skip. I am Toddy1Skip. Be better today than you were yesterday, not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Thanks, guys.